A press advocacy group is filing a lawsuit against the Los Angeles Police Department. In the lawsuit filed by the Los Angeles Press Club, an investigative outlet, Status Quo, accuses the LAPD of repeatedly targeting journalists with foam rounds, tear gas, and unlawful detentions, even when they clearly display their press credentials. The suit also claims officers used force and intimidation to interfere with reporters' constitutional rights and violated a state law that guarantees journalists access during protests. The LAPD has not responded to those allegations.
We're joined now by Chief Legal Analyst Khalif Rhodes to break this all down. This isn't something new for LAPD. They faced this back when they had the protests in 2020, and they were actually told that officers who are only trained can be the ones out there with this. But how do you break this down? Because officers also have to try to keep a crowd in order, and you have press mingling along. Where do you break this down?
They weren't told, they were ordered, and then we got to make sure we're always clear with that. The judges speak by their orders. The judge didn't recommend it, didn't suggest it. It's like when I tell my kids to go do the dishes. I'm not making a recommendation. It's in order to go ahead and do it.
Right.
It's the same way this judge was saying, I'm ordering you to not have folks that are trained or not trained properly use these projectiles, specifically 40 millimeter and 37 millimeter hard foam projectile launchers, who during the 2020 protests, they were just shooting them at random people. They also told them, don't shoot toward the head, groin, or torso area of individuals, because they found during the investigation they were specifically targeting the groin, head, and torso. Well, these foam projectiles, they're not lethal, but I'm pretty sure you can have some type of traumatic brain injury if you get hit in the head with a 40 millimeter foam projectile, and that's the reason why the judge instructed them to not do that, and that order is still in place. Regarding the press situation, like Jason talked about in the beginning, that's going against their policy, their current policy. That goes against state law and one of their own Senate bills in the state. And so this is an example of good lawyering. Again, using the words against them, using your own policies against you. When you can cite your own policies and then your individuals failing to follow your own policies, that's ripe for a winning lawsuit.
Khalif, is there a clear black and white definition of excessive force when it comes to press being at these protests, are allowed to be there? LAPD saying, you know, we're able to use this excessive force. Where's that gray area there?
I mean, it's force greater than it was necessary to overcome whatever scenario that you're in. But in a situation where you have press, as they mentioned in their lawsuit, you have people holding up their press credentials, saying I'm press, and still getting shot. I mean, that's a scenario that you and I, we're all sitting in the studio right now. We're not ducking bullets, but these folks are on the scene trying to cover a situation where if they weren't there, we wouldn't have any knowledge of what was happening. Yeah, we have folks that are running around with cameras and phones, but the press has a vital role in our society, constitutionally protected. And so if you have a constitutional protection to be there in the middle of that, in that fight, you want folks to be able to follow the rules and procedures that are there. And so if you're a press person with valid credentials and you're attempting to just tell the story and document it, you don't expect to be being shot at by the law enforcement folks that you're trying to cover.
Well, so when we talk about taking this to court and, you know, if the plaintiffs win here, are we talking monetary damages? What kind of reward is that? Or is it just a policy change, even though there are already policy changes in place?
Typically, it's a little bit of both. I mean, you have a monetary reward, but then you'd have policy changes. It kind of echoes some of the things that you've seen that the Trump administration is rolling back. When you have situations like the George Floyd events, like situations like this, typically a Department of Justice will enter in some type of consent agreement with the municipality saying, look, you're going to agree not to do this, or we're going to come and take over, or you'll agree not to do this and we won't bring any further civil rights violations on the federal side. However, I'm not sure if that portion would happen like it typically would have happened, say, in the last administration or even the ones before that. Typically, if you have a private actor suing and it's found that the municipality has done something egregious like the allegations here, the Department of Justice would come in and their Civil Rights Department would say, we're going to get you to sign this consent agreement so that moving forward, you guys can't do these types of things. And if you do, we will agree not to levy these large penalties on you. It happened in Minneapolis. It happens all over the country, and it typically would happen here. I just don't anticipate it happening now under this administration.
Again, should point out, it's not like you're firing tear gas where everybody gets a little bit of it. Very targeted using these rubber bullets. Khalif, thank you.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.